to the Matrix 8 webinar. I'm your host, Kent West. Thanks for coming out today. This webinar is designed to give people an idea of what's going on in Matrix 8. So if you're trying to decide to upgrade or what you want to do, I'm here to show you some of the new features in 8. So if you're in 6 or 7 and want to check it out, that's what this webinar is for. I'm joined today with my two panelists, Travis Serio and Matt Bennett, and I got my wingman, Ben Haycraft, here with me in Davenport, Iowa. So I got some good help around me, and we're also recording the webinar. So if you know anybody that couldn't come and they want to see it, we're recording it and we'll post it, and I'll get the word out where that's going to be later. I don't know if it'll be on Vimeo or YouTube or what. So thanks for coming out today. I'm going to pour through this pretty fast. We scheduled this for an hour. We're already late, of course, but here we go. So in Matrix 8, we have a lot of production tools that we created so that we can focus on production for whether it's 3D printing or ordering gems or indicating where they should be set. So the first thing that I want to start out with here, I'll head over to my job bags, is Gem Report. Okay, so Gem Report is new to version 8. And here I have a ring with multiple gems in it. And I'm going to go ahead and head over to the Gems menu. And one thing that you'll notice in Matrix 8 is that it's really not that different from 7, 7.5, even 6. We didn't change the interface all that much. We just added more functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and click Gem Map, and it goes and it creates as if you've taken this ring and rolled it out flat. We have a 5mm center stone. We have some 1.3s around it, 1.2s. And so here it gives us an indication of what size gems and how many you need to produce this part. And just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and start, do another one. And let's go ahead and hit, I'll show you what this looks like before I do it. Okay. And so I'll go ahead and do gem map on that one. And as you can see, it's very fast, happens very quickly. And I'm going to try to keep in mind that some of your frame rates may not be as good as mine. And hopefully I won't be spinning the screen around here too fast for you. And here's 52, 1.2s in that ring. Okay, so there's gem map. I'm going to go on to metal weight calculator. Now, we had a metal weight calculator before, but what we've done in Matrix 8 is we've tied more functions to the materials in Matrix. Okay? For instance, let me go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and turn the gems off on this one. Okay, and I'll go ahead and shade this so that you can see that. Okay, so metal weights are right here, okay?
No.
Whoa.
Look at that sucker.
Okay.
I know it minimized.
I cannot tell if someone's in on my control or what, but somebody just closed Matrix on me.
I do believe Doug might be logged in.
Yeah. Huh. All right, well, sorry about that. That's a bummer. So Yeah, I certainly didn't hit the X on that, so I can't quite tell what's going on there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have affected it.
So let's see. Yeah, I just can't tell. We'll let Matrix start up here again, and we'll get back to metal weight calculator. So.
Vision versus spring. Okay.
Okay. All right. So. Okay, so we're back, and sorry for the trouble. Let's go ahead. Okay, so let's get back to metal weights. And like I said, we have this tied into the material editor. And so let me go ahead and shade this. And under Tools is the metal weights, okay? And so if we select just all the parts, okay, and hit Calculate, then it'll go ahead and calculate the metal for all the components selected, and you can see all the different alloys that we have in the list. And we had something similar to this in Matrix before. But to help with the design process, what we've done in Matrix 8 is we've assigned metal weights to the materials. Now these are pointed to Stoller specific gravities, but you can customize these. So here I've picked platinum, okay, and I'm going to assign that to the white metal. And then I'm going to go ahead and right-click these little scrolls here, and I'll assign those rose gold. Okay, so now these know what material they have selected, and they know the specific gravity, and then I can come down here and check Use Object Materials and hit Calculate. Oh, I need to select them first, though. There we go. And so now we have rose gold and platinum, and it says how much weight it is, and it now tracks through the whole process and keeps track of what materials are on these particular objects. So to take that a step further, we have a design report. Okay, and so let's go ahead and assign materials to this model as well. So I'll pick the metal, and I'll pick yellow metal. I'm on 14 karat yellow right here, okay? And then I'll go ahead and assign these diamonds. Now we have a lot more materials in the gem material, and it's because we can now track and keep track of what materials you have. So we added a whole bunch more different materials for gems. Okay, over in Matrix on this side, we have design report. All right, so we'll let that sit and do its thing. What it's doing is it's taking inventory of the metal and the stones and so on. And so here in 14 karat yellow, we have the weight. We have all the different gems that are available, okay, or that are in this design. And what we can do is we can come down here to the corner and hit quote. Now what this is doing is if you have a Stoller account, then it's going to go out onto the Stoller website, and it's actually going to take inventory and find those particular diamonds. And as you can see up here at the top, it's sitting and loading in the price for each one of those. And It's coming right along here. I'm thinking my internet's being a little taxed right at the moment. So then what you can do is you can even come over here and say preview, and that'll jump out onto the Stellar site, and you can shop. You can see how many are in stock, 238. You can change the quality. You can add it to the cart, okay? And so all that happens all in real time right here. And we can even, if we want to order the whole thing, including the metal, all to build this job right here, we can say add to cart, and it'll take every single item that it would take to produce this and load it into the cart. So there you can see the different diamonds that we need, 62 of those, 2 of those. Here's the metal, okay? And there's the whole job ready to go. Proceed to checkout. I'm going to remove those from my cart because I don't want to order that today. Okay, now, the other thing that we can do then is we can print this. And so we'll let this load up. Okay, and let me make this a little bigger so people can see this. All right, so here we have some captures of the ring. Okay, looking through finger, top down. Here's the gem map with all the different gems required and where the bench person should set those. And then you can add your own notes in the previous menu, and there's all the information there, including the price. Now, if you don't have, I'm going to go ahead and close this, if you don't have a Stellar account or want to price this yourself, you can turn this off, okay? And then you can click on each line, you can put whatever the item is and how much that price would be, and you could still do a map of that. So the design report, very powerful in helping produce the job that you need to do. Okay, the next thing that I want to show, if there's nothing else in this seminar that you see today that you find would tilt you over the edge to upgrading to Matrix 8, I'm hoping that this is the one. Now, I'm going to start out with a real simple example here, and I'll let the builder actually do what it does. Okay, so here I have a ring, and to 3D print this, I may need to, number one, close all these items that might be open, and number two, I may need, for my particular model, I may need to union or unify this as a one single mesh. Okay, so in Matrix 8 we have mesh repair. All right, now it actually starts with a NURBS model and ends up with a mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of these components, which you can see are all on different layers and separate. And here's the objects that we have, or the options that we have. Extended repair on means it's going to unify the whole thing. If I turn this off, it'll do just the separate pieces themselves. We can change the resolution of the mesh to make a smoother or coarser surface, and if there's mill grain on the model, it will even optimize that so that it's a coarser mesh and we don't have a whole bunch of small mill grain at a really high mesh rate to make a large model. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter here, and you can see the progress that it's making on this ring. And not going to really click around and do anything else while it does this. And so it's gone through and checked everything to make sure that they don't have overlapping triangles or non-manifold edges, everything that it needs to do to and so we'll let it go ahead and do its business here. So it's nice that it actually tells you too that what it's doing there. Yeah, usually once it gets around 69, 70 or so, it jumps up to 100. So there, that repair is done, and then we start the Rhino mesh repair, and you're welcome to just click on that, and it says it's a good mesh. So it's extremely non-degenerate or naked. So there you go. And here's that mesh right here, and I'll go ahead and pull it out over here. And it is indeed one unified mesh. Now, that one was not a super complicated ring, and that's why I did it, especially since Matrix already closed on me once here. So I'm not looking for trouble. But what I can show you is another example that I have in a job bag here. Now, this particular ring was built by me, so I know the shortcomings of what's going on here. Here's a whole bunch of mill grain. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn off the shank, and I just want to show you a few things that are wrong with this model. Okay. When I made this, I didn't even close the back of these. It's open. Every single one of them's open, and they're crossing over each other. So hopefully you can see that on your screen. I'll quit zooming for a minute. Okay, so those are open. Up here at the top, if I turn off orange, those are open too. And these parts intersect with them over here. The model was made so that it could have multiple different metals, so I have little seats cut in this part here. When I turn these back on, they're perfectly coplanar. As far as coplanar goes, the top is as well. I think you get the idea. This model was made for a render, not for production. Well, if we turn all that on, and this ring I'm not going to take the time to do in the webinar, but I can tell you that when you do the same exact thing that I just did, what you get out of it is a unified mesh. And this one took about 2 minutes to do. Okay, so sit and watch it for 2 minutes, didn't have to answer any questions, didn't have to say check for triangles or check for this or check for that. I just hit go and sit back and watch. So there's that. The next thing that I want to show you is another 3D printing tool set that we call either 3D printing or CAM tools. Okay, so here I have that ring that I unified here at the beginning of this, and I'm going to take it into production. So right here is the 3D printing tools. The first tool that I want to click is Show Support Regions. Okay, so when I click that and say Add Object and hit Enter, what we do is we display what the down-facing surfaces are. So everything in red here is a down-facing surface, and in theory should be supported. Okay, so the first function in this builder that I want to do is a sprue with ring base. Okay, so select the ring, hit Enter. Okay, the builder goes and finds the bottom of the ring, sets the sprue on it, puts the base on it for growing, and you have all these different options for how high, how thick, what the shape of the base is. You know, we can do rectangular, or we can do ellipse like I had. So I'm just going to hit Enter and take that. Okay, the next section that I need to support is the inside of the ring and the halo. Okay, and that function is going to be right here, support the ring. Okay, so it starts out at the base of the shank, and I'm going to pull this up about so far, and then it's going to branch off so that I can add supports along the inside of the shank. Now I'm going to turn on Mirror X so that I can get to each side, and I'll click here and I'll click here. So there's some supports for the inside of that shank. Now I'm going to jump up and support the halo, but I'm going to turn on Mirror Y so that I get the other side of the ring as well. So then I'll click here and let's say here. And then I'll hit enter. All right, so now, there we go. So now what we have is we have some blue supports, and those are the parents, and all the more blue-gray are the children. So we can click on one of the parents, and then we can also move and change how these supports go up onto the surface. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that too much, but there's where you can change all those. I can also come down here and click on the ring, okay, and I can change the size of that so that I don't have as much material, okay. And then down here at the bottom we can either squeeze it side to side or front to back. So as I click on this, I can change that so that it's sitting only on the shank there. With that done, if I hit enter, that turns into geometry, and there's the supports that I've generated for that part of the ring. The last part that I need to worry about here is the downward facing prongs. Okay, so to do that we have this blend support with quad mirror tool, and so there's different options in here. This is the one I'm going to use for this section. So we come up here, and on one of the downward facing prongs I'm just going to click on the mesh, and then as you move off it, it starts a little support. Okay, then we can come over here and I'm going to cross over. I can go like this or like this. I'm going to cross over and click on the end of that prong. Then I'm going to jump over here and cross over and click on that prong and hit enter. So there are my supports for those downward facing prongs. This one's starting to go past halfway, so I'm good. Okay, now these supports are down facing. So the last thing I'm going to do is change and make a support that goes down to the base. So let's zoom in here and I'll click on the downward facing part of this. Okay. And then I'm going to send that down to the base, but it gets awful thin. So that's a little too thin to grow. So I'm going to go to the end diameter and change that to 1, and then come back, and that's a stronger support, and hit enter. So there's that part, and keep in mind that we could select this whole thing and come over to mesh repair and unify this mesh if we wanted to. But there's the CAM tools or 3D printing tools, and they're very powerful. Okay, that's the production section of the webinar, and I want to take a moment just to talk real quick about what we call the GemVision Online Academy. And I know some of the attendees here today are probably already on the Academy, so thanks very much for that. If you haven't heard of the Academy, though, here it is right here. It's academy.gemvision.com. And this is where we are putting all of our training material. So we have our courses, the Matrix Essentials is, I'll go ahead and click on that. This is all the primary training content. If you're a brand new user, these are all videos on how to use Matrix from the ground up. Okay. Then next to that we have Essentials Plus, which is the next step in that training. Then we jump over into Intermediate Matrix, Advanced Matrix, and all these are content from our training staff and our training materials. Then the support department, in doing support every day, we load up intermediate and advanced videos up here as well. So if we're working on a video, then we'll post it up here. Okay, so we've got all this content here. Besides these, we have what's new in Matrix. So this is all a bunch of Matrix 8 information. We got Matt Bennett over here breaking down Matrix, even some milling stuff. So you say, okay, how much to join the Academy? The silver membership is $895 US, and that includes everything that you see here in this entire catalog of videos and information, and we update this all year long. That membership is for 1 year for this. The gold membership is $995 US, and that also includes 1 year of phone and email support so that you could send a question into matrix@gemvision.com or call us. And so not only do you get this whole catalog of information for $995, but also support for a year. So there's my plug for the Academy. At the end of this webinar, I'll put up some information if you have any questions, who to contact, and we'll help you out with that. The next thing that I want to do is some new modeling features that are in version 8. Okay, so let me call up this model here. Okay, now, as many of you know, we have another product, the sister to Matrix is CounterSketch, and in CounterSketch we've been borrowing ideas from Matrix and producing functions there, and now also in Matrix 8, we're starting to borrow some of the functionality of the builders we have in CounterSketch and bring them over into Matrix. So it's kind of a win-win situation. So here I have a ring, simple shank, and I'm going to go over to gems, and right here is the new halo builder. Now, from what I understand, halos are not going to go away anytime soon. So when we start the halo builder, we have all the different functions of what the halo builder can do over here. So if you're an icon-driven person, here's your deal. If we put the gem into the gem box, okay, if you're a command line person, there's all those options here. Or if you're like me and you like to just move the handles around and check it out, there we go. So up here we have, the way this works is we have a profile that dictates what the channel shape looks like, or the halo shape. Then as you manipulate the size of that halo, okay, the gems all change with it. So if we change the spacing from the center stone, then as we change that, the builder automatically puts in the number of gems that it takes to fulfill that size of a halo. We have the outside shape as well, okay? Besides that, we can also change the inside wall thickness and the outside wall thickness. So that's the amount of metal that we have on the outside of the halo. We can also soften or change the shape of the halo. So I maybe would come in here and pick more of a rounded profile so that I get that kind of shape. I can change the depth of the halo. I can come all the way down here to make one that I could pierce through the finger hole. I can change the angle of the halo, the location up and down of the halo, pretty much the kind of things that you're used to if you're a matrix user as with head builder or bezel builder. Once you're happy with that, and of course we're getting a readout of what the gems are the whole time, and if I hit enter, then it goes ahead and builds the halo. Now, if it's not quite right, maybe it's not quite big enough or something, you can simply select the halo and you can actually just throw it right back into the gem box and it'll start the halo builder right back up again. Okay? And so many of the builders do that. You can throw a head builder into the box, you can throw a bezel builder in. So there you go. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is, and we have style sheets too that you can load pre-done halos with and so on, so it's pretty powerful. The next section I want to talk about is smart targets. Now, back in the day we had blend targets, and as a matter of fact they still live right up here, and blend targets, as some of you may or may not know, are very near and dear to my heart, although they never quite worked the way we intended. And so now we have a new section of smart targets. So under Tools, we have Smart Target buttons, and also another button down here to help aid in building smart target projects. Now, since my job here today is just show you what's out here, unfortunately I would love to sit and teach you smart targets and build stuff, and I would go for the rest of the day. But I'm already 27 minutes into my seminar, so I'm just going to show you some examples. Here's a ring that is laid out with smart targets. And another function that we made that works in conjunction with smart targets but can be used in other ways too is the join history button right here. And so let me go ahead and throw away part of this, well, not that part. Oh yeah, that part. Let me throw away some of this so you can see what's going on. Okay? So here's a ring made of smart targets, and the whole idea is that we can grab one of the targets like so, and when I move it, it'll update the rails that are being used for sweeping. It'll update the profiles that are made with the blend targets, okay? And all the while, the surfaces are going with that, okay? So we can grab these and, oh, that's bad. I grabbed a curve instead of a target. That was my fault. Okay, so anyway, we can grab this, move these around, and alter this ring in many, many, many different ways. And some people are like, oh, that's like T-splines. And you know, it really isn't. It's fluid like T-splines, but it won't do all the things T-splines will do. It is the way that I kind of think about modeling, though. And so I let Trav, Beav, Andrew, I let all the young guys do T-splines, and I stick with blend targets. So here, if this is coming away from the Pearl, we can move that over up there. So the other thing you can do is you can also attach targets to a curve, and if I move this over, it'll change the shank coming down in the curve from 2 view and so on. So there's a really quick example. I've got join history going on in this one too, because all the profiles are being connected with join history. So if you want to know more about that, I mean, certainly have a bunch of videos up on the Academy that show the join history and so on. But here we can just grab this bypass ring and start. We can make a little ledge for some gems that come up here, and we could grab these targets over here and move them up. You know, change this however you want. So there's, like I said, I can go on and on all day about smart targets, but I also envision at some point we might have profiles. You know, maybe we'll have a bunch of profiles that we have pre-canned for placing out here. So we'll see how many people are using smart targets and where that goes. Okay, so now I want to talk about another new function that we have called Sweep 4. So we have Sweep 1, we have Sweep 2, and we're going to skip 3 and head right to 4. So let me call up a job bag here. Now here's the setup that I have. Okay, I have 2 red curves that with curve from 2 views makes these 2 green curves. And then I have this blue curve and this blue curve, and the curve from 2 views makes those. All right? So what I can do is I can come in here and grab the red one, and those will change. Okay? And I can also come over here and change the green one, and those will change. All right? So I've started the, let's put this up here. I've started the 4 profile builder, and I'm going to select my green curves, and I'm going to place those into the builder, and that starts it. So you can see it says start of line. Well, here's my profile here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on project, and I'm going to head over to the through finger viewport. And what I'm going to do is place a profile through these 4 curves, like so. Okay? If you want another profile, just like our other profile builder, you hit Add Profile. It adds it right where it was, and you can move it. You can rotate it. Okay? If you know exactly where you want it, you can come over and say Set Plane, and you can draw like so and set it. If you want to change the profile, okay, let's go ahead and I'm just going to add a little bump to the top of this profile like so. All right? Then I'll say Add Profile again. And then I'll say Set Plane again, and I'll come over here and set that here. That profile, perhaps we'll go back to a smooth one. Okay, with that done, the first thing I'll show you is if we come over here and move this, then you can see it sit and update those profiles through the rails. Let's go ahead and sweep this though. So now if we come over and say sweep 4, okay, select the profiles that are part of this sweep 4. So only the profiles. We already know the rails. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go to plastic and maybe tone that down a little bit. All right, so now we have a we can go in and change these now again, moving these around, and that'll update. We can even turn on control point editing, okay? And I can come in here and say, all right, well, I want to just move this over and pinch that in. Or I can come over here and select this curve and turn on control points and maybe raise that up, make that taller. So the whole while, it's sitting and putting those profiles through those 4 rails. Okay? So there you go. Let's go ahead and I'll throw this away. So there's the concept of Sweep 4. I thought it would be fun to show you real quick the idea of combining these 2 tools together, actually 3 tools. I've got join history on the blue curves that go through all these points. I've got smart targets here, and I'm going to also add I'm going to go ahead and add, so there's the 4 curves. I'm going to add those in here. Okay, and so I'm at start align. I have a profile already, so I'm just going to place this here. And I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to hit add profile, set plane, and put a new one in. Let's do that about here. Okay. And then I'll say add profile, set plane again. Put that up here. So there's some profiles. And let's go ahead and sweep this. I'll turn off that gem. You go to you, go to you. And there you go. So now this could be a lot crazier. We could have any profile that in here, but now we can grab a target and move it, and it will not only change the rails that are being swept, but it'll also maintain that profile. So you can get kind of the best of both worlds here, okay? And change this ring up with not only a profile but also rails. So there you go. Okay, the next feature that I want to talk about is gem springs. So let's go ahead and pull another model out here. Now gem springs has been around a while, but we've made it more powerful, okay? And so let's go ahead and gem springs lives up here. right there, a little spring right there. Okay, first thing it wants to know is what's the surface, so I've got that. And then, let's do that. We'll get rid of that one. And then I also have all the gems, so I'll take every single gem and throw it in here, and then Gem Springs starts, okay? And each one of these gems can now be moved, but they adhere to the surface. So I can grab this one, and as you can see, when I move it, the other ones react and move with it, okay? And so you can move these around. And here's some of the new features in this tool. We have Shift, Alt, and Control. Okay, so if I hold down Shift and click on the edge of a gem, okay, I can scale it. If I need a new gem in here, then I will click the Alt key. So I hold down Alt, click on here, and it adds a gem. I can then immediately hold down Shift and scale that gem, and then click in the center and move it. If one of the gems is placed and gets locked, okay, you can hold down Control and still move a locked gem. All right, so it's very powerful. Let's move this one over here. Hold down Shift, scale it up, okay, and that makes a gap so that I can hold down Alt and click here, and I think you get the idea. So we can sit and place these in here, move them around, place some more. Maybe this one would be better over here or something. I don't know. I'm gonna mess it up quick here in a minute. But hold down Alt, click another, and that's a problem. But we can move these around, and that's the new features in Gem Springs. And you can use it for any gem on any surface. I'll hit Enter and commit, and I'm going to move on. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to show is a new function called image trace. All right. Now, some of you Matrix users out there may be using a program called Inkscape. And Inkscape we use to take a vector image and go ahead and place the vector into Matrix. Well, we don't have to go over to Inkscape anymore. We can do that right inside of Matrix. And so right here is image trace. All right, so I'll start that function, and I asked Travis to make me a drawing that I could load in here. And so let's go ahead and trace this. So you come over, and let's go ahead and there he is. There's the drawing. And before you can even think about it, the builder traces it. Now, these are all, it does a great job, image trace does. You won't find any overlapping curves, anything that flips around and goes back over itself. That won't be in there. You can see we have a couple little dots here. Those we call speckles. And you can certainly come in here, and I'm going to increase the speckle to 4, and it'll get rid of those speckles. We can smooth out the lines by blurring the original artwork. We can do all sorts of stuff. But once you're happy with what you have, just hit Enter, and those are curves that we can use to engrave into maybe a dog tag or top of a ring or whatever. And so, you know, as a jeweler, you know, you could start maybe a thing where people bring in their kids' drawings and you turn them into jewelry that lasts forever for them. Okay, so the next one that I want to show you with this is a little more complicated of an image. And also I want to point out that this image is just okay. In other words, it's kind of what I would call furry. It's not the greatest resolution. The lines aren't super sharp, but image trace deals with it pretty well anyway. So let's go ahead and load that in here. And so there's that image, and out it comes. Now, based on what we can do, it did a good job with the R, it did a good job with the outlines, and it produced this pretty well. But the difference between the red and the black is not good enough for it to do the handle and this part. Unfortunately, if I change it to pick that up, then it'll lose the other parts. So I do stuff like this in 2 passes. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to that and put it on green, and I'll turn that off for now. Okay, then I'm going to run the tool again, all right, and I'm going to change the threshold so that it will pick up those darker red images. So I'll change that down to 0.2, and there it went ahead and traced this part, but it lost part of the R. Well, that's no big deal. Let's put this on orange, and I need to type ungroup. And I'm going to go ahead and grab these sections right here, and I'm going to grab these part of the handle, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and invert that selection, so invert and delete. And then I'll bring this back, and there you go. I'll even steal that one and put that over there. Okay, so there's image trace. Makes a great vector. We've got this logo now, and signet ring, whatever you want, award rings. There's those vectors. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the new SmartFlow. Okay, now, we've had SmartFlow for a long time. This is a newer SmartFlow. And the biggest thing about this SmartFlow is it still remembers the fact that it's been flowed when you bring it out of a job bag or open the file, and you can also have multiple flows. The old SmartFlow had 2. It had, unless you knew about the hidden SmartFlow 2, you only had 1. And so you could only do 1 base and 1 target. Well, now you can do, in theory, unlimited. So I have 3 here. So I'll show you what I mean. Here we have a ring. This part right here is being flowed up here. Okay? So if I go ahead and grab the first one, I have history on this, so it moves all those off with it. Then I can pick a different object. Okay? And then let's turn on point here, and we'll move from point to here. Okay, so now the SmartFlow still has history, and up those go. I guess my point in showing this is all those features, but the other thing is that now you could have base rings. Okay, let's turn this off. You can have base geometry that you can have different solutions for. So we might have this base ring with this shape, with this shape, with this shape, and you can almost create a catalog of parts all based on the same base geometry, and the fact that the SmartFlow still stays active allows you to put that up there. Okay? I think you get the idea. This one's more trouble than it's worth to get up there, but I could easily move these off the base, put this one on, and this little rope section would get replaced. And of course the rest of the ring can still have history, so we can move it around, change it, and away we go. So that's the new SmartFlow. Okay, the next thing that I want to show is the new F6. If you've had Matrix since version 6, 7.7.5, you're probably familiar with the F6 command. Let's hit File New here in case I have stuff hidden out there. Okay, the new F6 is built so that you can very easily change the different parameters. You can populate the F6 command yourself. Okay, and you do that right down here with the gear. Okay, so click here to customize this menu. We have different categories. We have general mode, we have curve mode, gem mode, surface. We even have a user mode where you can just populate it with whatever you want. Maybe you want to do a smart target menu. You could do that in the user mode. The other neat thing is that you can pin this. So now I have pinned this menu, so as I use it, draw curves, and work with it, this will stay here and not disappear every time you do a command like the older F6 did. So that's pretty powerful, and a lot of people I know have customized that to their own liking. The next thing that's new is the project manager. Now, I know that a lot of you use job bags. I would think that all of you use job bags. The thing is, I find a lot of users are not using the project manager. Well, if you haven't been, now's a good time to start because it's all brand new. And so let me show you a little bit about that. Now, in Project Manager, all the projects that are over here by default show up on this side. Okay? And the first thing that I want to show you is that some people will archive their projects and then get them out of here and store them over in Project Archive. And that's a totally fine way to do it. But what you can also do now is you can uncheck them. So let's talk about my Smart Flow and Dog and Pony job bags. Okay? So if I simply uncheck those, they real-time disappear from over here. All that's happening is that we're not displaying them. Their files are still there. They're fine. They're over in the projects folder. But Matrix doesn't have to show them. Okay, if I turn them back on, then they come right back. Okay, that part's cool. But perhaps even better is the fact that if I left-click on Dog and Pony, I can enter in all sorts of information. So here's the files in Dog and Pony. So those are the job bag rows. I could have JPEGs in here. I could have all sorts of stuff in here. The next tab over is the information, and this is about this job bag row. So I can set this row up for a customer. So here I have Kent West. I'm with GemVision, and you can populate this with as many users as you want. Okay, and if you click the pencil, you can add a new one right here and then. The designer of this was Travis Serial, but I also have my other designer, Matt Bennett, here as well. These are all searchable fields in this builder. Okay, the date the job was started and the date it's due. The status of the job is in progress. I think you can read these and get the idea. I can add a description here for the job bag row. Okay, and I can also set tags so that I can start a trend in my job bags. So if I have a bunch of job bags and a customer comes in and says, hey, I'm looking for a new 3-stone ring. Well, if that's what this project was and I set the tag to 3-stone, then I can search in my job bags for 3-stone or 5-stone, or is it a band or a bar set? This happens to be a vintage gypsy ring. So those are the tags that I set. So we would save all that information, okay? And then what we can do is come over here and start searching. If you want to search by the customer, well, there's my customer, me. Hit search. That's the only job that's for this particular customer. If you X that field out and hit search again, it'll bring them all back because there's no filter, okay? Same thing, I can search by designer. There's my entered designers. My tags are all here. So if I want to find those vintage pieces that I've been making, I hit vintage and hit search, and up we go. Okay, so that's really a great way for you to start to categorize your pieces, your jobs, and track them. The next thing that job bags will do, or the project manager, is there's two more things. I can import a folder. So let's say, hey, you've got your credit card out in your hand, you want to upgrade to Matrix 8, you're sold, but you want to import your old Matrix 7. Okay, so we'll go over to my user here and go to Documents, and there's my Matrix 7 folder. Okay, and if I click on Projects and stop right there and hit OK, it'll pull all these job bag rows over into here, and that's the end of it. Okay, they'll be in here in Matrix 8, and that was pretty painless. But wait, it gets cooler. The other thing you can do is change the location very easily for the location of these files. So you might be in a production situation where you have a common server, or maybe just a two-person scenario where you have two computers on a network and you want one of them to be the master job bag part. Or you can even go so far as to add this storage location out to a cloud, like Google Drive or Dropbox or the one of your liking. So all you do is come down here and hit Change, okay? And you can, for mine, let's see, I've got Dropbox, so I'll go over here and let's go, oh wait, I'm in the wrong spot. There it is, Dropbox, and then I made a little webinar folder right there. So if I click that and say OK, it'll prompt me to move all my job bags over to my Dropbox folder called Webinar, and then away we go. So there you go. I can't hear if anybody's applauding or anything. So that's the project manager. Let's go ahead and we've added a couple new libraries to Matrix. Okay, so if we go over to the Tools menu and click on this one Stuller Findings Library. Now, we have bezels, all right? We have heads, and then we also have jump rings. Now, we're going to continue to add to this, so Matrix upgrades will have more and more and more findings. The neat thing about this is, so here's the 311 head, okay? And the 311 is available in 14 karat, platinum, and 14 karat white, so yellow and white. Okay, so if we pick 14 karat white, the 14 karat white heads are available from Stuller in these sizes. We have modeled each and every one of these up separately so that they are what I call anatomically correct, right? So if you place this into a document, okay, then it's not some scaled version of the 311. It's that 311 for that size head or gem. The other cool thing is because we've tied our materials to the models, now this setting has that material on it, and when you go over and do the design report, you can even, these will show up in the design report and you can order them. Now they are a block instance, so we made it hard for you to change them, but the idea is that you load it, move it, use it in the design, and when you do the design report, you can actually order that. Okay, the other library that we have is from a company called Burmark that we got together with and got some of their designs to load into Matrix. So these are all NURB based, they're not meshes. We have engagement rings with all the gems in them. We have engagement with matching wedding bands. These have, many of them have the creation curves, and they also have the cutters. We've even taken some of them, like engagement, and we've taken the gems out of the shanks so that you could put your own in and perhaps do a new row of channel or no. So we have different versions of these, all at different levels of completion. So that's pretty cool. We're coming up on an hour here, and so the last part of my presentation that I wanted to cover were some of the visualization tools, which is a hard word for me to say, so I'm going to call them presentation tools. Now, in Matrix, we've got all these different shade modes, okay? So we have all these here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to load an image of these rather than call up models and shade them all, because that'll take up the rest of our time. So some of the new shade modes that we have are pretty cool. This one's called Art Color. It's nice, bright, easy to see with outlines, so you can really tell what's going on a model. We've got Chalkboard mode, which is kind of fun. We've got kind of a blueprint one called Floor Plan. So, and these are all just shade modes underneath the shade button. Legacy, kind of an old drawing on parchment. Matrix Blue, it's kind of a little more high-tech look. We have the same type of shader with just black and white. Pastel is fun. Pastel is light with just a hint of outlines, and it's on parchment. But you can go in and alter these shade modes yourself in the Display tab. And what I did is I took off this kind of parchment-looking background and made it white. And then when you add the curves into a design, you can get a real kind of artistic or painterly feel, and use this for either advertising or just the way you want to present your designs. So the next thing I want to talk about as far as presentation tools goes is the layout mode. Okay, and so layouts live right here, and layout tools are just a way for you to take one model and show it in a presentation many different ways. Okay, so let me just call up some that have already been done. All right, and so here's the classic 4-view where it did each render, loaded the render into the layout mode, and then you can print it or make a JPEG out of it. And so here's carousel mode, where it's just the same ring and it sends it around and shows you kind of every angle of that ring. Here's a good way to show a design from the top and the side pendants. Here's a detail view where it shows just different details of the ring. And so then we have, here's another pastel mode. And so there's some of the layout modes. Okay, there's some other, if you have a website, whether you're in production as a manufacturer or if you just have your own store website, we also have some tools that will help you create a whole catalog or library of renders for your website. Okay, and so let me call up, the tool is right here, and I don't have it loaded with anything right now, but basically what you can do is you can have models on separate layers, you can have separate materials and also separate views, and you can do combinations of renders all based on these parameters. For instance, here's an example, okay, and I have a ring, and I wanted this with a white metal halo and then a white metal shank and a yellow metal shank. Then I wanted 5 or 6 different center stones. So there's an amethyst and then an emerald. And so the builder went through and based on my choices generated each one of these renders. Then it went ahead and did the other metal. So it did every combination. I could have said do yellow halo and white shank. That would have been fine too. Okay? And so there's that view. And then here's another view from the front. Okay, so it's the same renders, same job, just different views. And so there's the different colored stones, and then it'll jump over to yellow metal. And then I have one more lying down here. Now, the neat thing is when it's done, okay, and hopefully you're hanging up, seeing all these with the different frame rates that we have going on here. But at the end of this, you can also produce an animation where it fades from one to the other. Okay, so here it's just, I don't know how choppy this is for you, but it's just playing through the different materials, and now it's going to switch to, and you can, the new animation builder, or the new movie maker rather, you can do dissolves in that now. So you can set these up yourself too and have the transition faster or slower, whatever you want. So that's an MP4 that function makes. We also have some animations. We have a new animation builder, an advanced animation builder. So let me go ahead and play some now. Hopefully, I don't know how jerky these are for you. These are all smooth animations. But here we have, this is actually a customer's animation. I'll tell you what, Travis also sent a link out to the entire audience with this animation uploaded. So if you look in your presentation window there, you'll notice that he just sent a link out. So thanks for that, Trav. And if you want to see it smoother. But the idea is that with the Movie Maker, we can do transitions or fades. So each one of these animations is faded to the other. This was all done in Matrix with the animation builder and with the Movie Maker. The other thing that we can do is we can actually animate functions like sweep 1, sweep 2, pipe, and also loft. So I think after a couple animations here, here's a multiple pass animation all done with multiple camera paths all in the same animation. Here's where we're changing the depth of field, okay, by moving the camera target. And here's a sweep 1 animation where it actually grows the ring using sweep 1. So that's about it for what I really intended to show. There's more tools in Matrix 8. There's more stuff going on that I didn't get to today, but I did want to leave a little bit of time if anybody, oh, let me also do this for you. I also have, if you're interested, if you have any questions or are interested in upgrading, here's a couple ways to get a hold of us. Penny Shook is at that phone number at extension 110 if you want to talk to a person. I can tell you, unfortunately, today, well, it's not unfortunate, today's Penny's birthday, and she took the day off. So, but if you just call our 800 number, the admin office can also help. That's no trouble. You can also go to Upgrade 8. If you have a question, want to email us, upgrade8@gemvision.com. Or if you're ready to go, there's an automated system at gemvision.com/M8, and you can upgrade. If you're upgrading from 7 or 7.5, that's an automated process right there on that site. So I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for coming to the webinar. I'm sorry for the rough start today, but it's my first one, so I'm sure I'll get better. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask at this time? I'm watching, I know Matt and Travis are running interference for me for questions. And Trav and Beeb, if you have anything that you want to add quick, you could certainly flip your mic on and answer the questions that the folks are asking as well.
Yeah, so a big question that we're getting a lot is some people have come in the middle or have been distracted by normal work duties, which thanks for joining us during the Christmas rush season. We appreciate that. We are recording all this, and we will be posting it online. We aren't sure of that URL yet, so check the forums. check. We're on Facebook now actively. We haven't really done the Facebook thing, so we're doing that. Like us on Facebook. We're going to put the link up there as soon as we get it up. Like I said, we don't know exactly where that'll be. It'll either be Vimeo or YouTube or something, but we'll get the recording up there.
Very good. Okay, well, thanks everybody for attending. Trav or Beav, if there's no other burning questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But thanks everybody for being loyal Matrix users, and I hope you enjoyed the Matrix 8 webinar. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.